Live from Starrcast, this is Good Karma Wrestling, another edition of GKW. Gabe Knights along with Jonathan Hood, Brian Rowitz. Funny enough, the first time we've all ever three been live in person. Yes. First time I've actually ever met Jay Hood in person. Yeah. So, Starrcast is a magical place where dreams come true as we are in suburban Chicago ahead of All Out tonight at the United Center. And
keep it down, we're recording. Go ahead.
And I know you guys did a special episode last night with the firing of CM Punk, but still so much information coming out, from all the different media outlets surrounding this, whether or not Punk was trying to get out of his contract before he came back. And, a lot of people thought maybe that's why the Young Bucks and the Elite ultimately decided to re-sign with AEW. This is just very unfortunate timing, I think, for AEW, because the card they're putting out there tonight is saved a little bit with Bryan Danielson showing up last night at Collision. But, man, to have as many shows in Chicago as you are, coming off of a very large pay-per-view, is very unfortunate not to have the biggest draw in Chicago in CM Punk.
This is a very tough time if you are a Chicago wrestling fan, because your hero is not going to be there. However, Sky Blue might be there. I think she's the new hero now in this town. I think
she couldn't get on Collision last night, though.
She couldn't get on Collision, but she was on Good Karma Wrestling.
Right? Yes.
So I mean, that's where you get pushed.
Watch back
right?
that interview.
Yeah, that's the push for sure. But it's a good point, and we did not bring this up yesterday. I'm glad you brought this up, Gabe, because CM Punk clearly was miserable being part of All Elite Wrestling, and if you're making millions of dollars, why are you miserable? But he was, and because as soon as he found out that the Young Bucks and Hangman Page are going to get re-upped, he's thinking, well, there's no room for me. I'm out of here. Well, the whole premise of having CM Punk have his show and then the Young Bucks have their show is just nonsense for a young company. You want to do a brand split that's not really real in WWE, you can do that. But this company did not deserve a brand split of, CM Punk's here. That means the Young Bucks can't be there. That means Adam Page can't be there. The rubber met the road, and he was fired, and rightfully so.
And I feel like wrestlers, you're going to be a little ticked off with this new schedule. There's no brand split now. The whole Wednesday, you're going to be somewhere, then you're going to go home for a day, then you're going to travel again. The brand split makes sense when you're doing Wednesday, Saturday. He ruined a lot of things. He obviously didn't want to be there, and Tony threw a set, essentially.
Well, and we should have seen it coming. The interview he did with ESPN, he basically in that, when he's had some of those things going, that's kind of spicy, he was more or less doing the George Costanza drive around in the parking lot. Yeah. Tony Khan is an idiot. You can kind of see all these things now in 2020, now that it's all done, now that it's all happened. But it's unfortunate, I think, for the city of Chicago, because, and we talked about this with the interview with Sky Blue, in that, yes, Jacksonville is the home of AEW. But Chicago is the home of AEW. They don't rely on a crowd quite like they do in Chicago. This is the place that they decided, and yes, they could sell out the United Center because it was Punk for Rampage. But this is where they decided to come for Forbidden Door. We're doing this big pay-per-view with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to Chicago. Yeah. We're going to do a week's worth of shows leading up to a pay-per-view after doing the biggest wrestling show we've ever done. Anybody's ever done? We're going to Chicago. Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we're going to Chicago. They constantly come back to this town, and I know I give you a hard time for, it's an A-town, but it is. They continuously show up. But at the same time, I think after this week, after firing a Punk and based on reactions from last night's Collision crowd, it seems like most people here in Chicago get it. But at the same time, you're going to have to put a better foot forward in order for Chicago to turn out, because you don't have the CM Punk card that you can play, and people are going to show up because of Punk. You got to put together a better card than what's going to be on people's televisions and in the ring tonight.
What was the crowd like at Collision Saturday night?
It was decent. I'd say 80 to 85%, but the couple of times when someone started CM Punk chant, they were quickly drowned out. Mm-hmm. But the weird part of that, though, is that when the Bucks come out, those were all boos. People were not happy to see the Bucks, so they're not really picking a side, which is the odd part, but there wasn't that hijacking of the show that you would expect.
And to me, that's the other part of it. CM Punk was clearly a problem in AEW. They have other problems they need to clean up, and I think it's tough to say because they're executives, right? But one of Punk's biggest problems was the fact that Hangman Adam Page was able to go into business for himself and there were zero repercussions, right? And there are zero repercussions right now if you want to go into business for yourself. It seemed like, and again, it's so hard to kind of parse, okay, is that coming from Punk's camp? But it seemed like Punk at least wanted to try to have a sit down and figure out, because he's an old school wrestling guy, hey, can we make money off of the CM Punk versus the Elite feud? And based on most of the reporting that's out there, anytime some sort of meeting to try to bridge that gap would immediately be shut down by the Young Bucks.
And I think yesterday there was that random report all of a sudden that they were supposed to meet, I believe, Friday. The Elite shut that down. Some people are saying that's not true, but very odd that came out on the day he's fired.
I think ultimately it's about 2 steps forward and 1 step back every time, right?
Yep.
You try to take a step forward and you take 2 or 3 steps back if you're CM Punk. And to me, it's a guy that really wanted to be able to be the leader in the locker room. Let's just use the last example. So Jack Perry's got to understand that, hey, man, you got a long career ahead of you. You don't need to use real glass in a limo. And so the veteran leader, CM Punk, says, don't use real glass. Man, you don't need to do that. And Jack Perry went around CM Punk, talked to somebody in management, and they cleared real glass. And then Jack Perry shoots on the audience where no one knew what he was talking about. He was talking to one guy, CM Punk, and then all this happened. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit, Broach, because you were there, about what Tony Khan had to say about this. Because, I saw the pre-tape before it went on the air, him sitting in a chair. It's almost like, is this real or not? Is this because he's talking about, like, he felt like his life was in danger and felt like, hey, I've been in Chicago for a long time and we had to do this. What was that reaction like?
It was boos that started. He was trying to control the crowd, but I don't understand why. What's going to happen. I don't know if that was trying to prevent the hijacking this show, but we all knew it all. And now you're telling Chicago, hey, by the way, fired him on this weekend. Why not wait till next week? That was the weird part.
That's some balls.
Yes.
I don't think Vince would have done that.
No.
I think he would have done the pre-tape what we saw at the beginning of Collision. Let me explain to you what happened. We're moving forward.
But you also, again, because this card clearly screams CM Punk was supposed to be somewhere on it, you had to let people know that Punk was not going to be on the card. Because otherwise you get to the end of last night, and that's when the crowd really turns hostile, and then they really go, oh, I'm not coming back for another AEW show because we figured CM Punk would be here. So you have to get out in front of it. The whole part about his life being in danger seems a little much for me. But I guess I wasn't backstage. I don't know what happened.
And if it's that extreme, why do we need the weak investigation? You're the owner of the company. You felt in danger. That usually means termination.
But it probably took lawyers for them to convince him, hey, you need to fire this guy because he didn't want to get rid of CM Punk. He didn't want to be wrong. And plus, we come to find out that CM Punk was an employee and a talent.
Yeah.
2 contracts.
Yeah.
Can I get that? Can I get that?
Well, that's the other thing about this statement. We find out it's with cause, which means Punk's losing out on that money. And is there still a non-compete window?
Yeah, that's the other thing. But
I don't know.
At the same time, I don't know. Does CM Punk want anything to do with professional wrestling anymore? Does he?
Maybe for a week. Who knows?
Where are his options?
Right.
There's no way Hunter picks him up.
Jay's put him in JCW.
I did.
Yeah.
As a special attraction.
Right.
And we put the poll question at GKW_wrestling. We put it out there, and people said, I think it was 50% say he should retire.
Yeah.
But the other one was going back to WWE, and I don't know if that's in the cards. Because here's why we know. When he went to WWE, remember we talked about that? When he was in the parking lot?
Yeah, he went to Raw. Yeah.
I need to talk to Hunter. What are you doing? Aren't you with AEW?
Yeah.
So probably at that time, he was like, I need to get out of here.
Right.
Let me see if I can talk to somebody from WWE.
Remember, he went to multiple shows. He went to the Raw, and then he went to Impact, I believe. Just randomly showed up in their locker rooms. Yes.
And he'd want to talk to Hunter. He ended up talking to Tamina Snuka.
Right.
I don't know. I don't wrestle here. I'm in catering. I don't know. So Tamina Snuka didn't have any answers for him. But at that time, maybe that's a line of demarcation where he thought, I'm not going to last here. Let me talk to Hunter. It's Hunter's get the fuck out of here.
Well, no, it's crazy because when you think back to his debut here in Chicago, AEW was so incredibly hot.
I was there.
And ever since a year ago today, Brawl Out, his arrow has pointed down, AEW's arrow has pointed down, and I think they're kind of hoping maybe to get rid of him. Now they have an opportunity to bounce back. They still have a lot of goodwill. I think they need to make up again in this town in particular, but they had to do it. And I still think there are other issues they need to clean up in terms of kind of some external stuff. again, like you can't be Jack Perry and shoot into the camera for one person.
No.
Like you can't disconnect the audience like that. If you're going to break the fourth wall and look through the camera and say something, like it's got to be something worthwhile, not just, oh, real glass, Crimea River. So I think there are some issues they still need to clean up, but maybe they feel they can start cleaning it up with CM Punk gone.
Gabe, how much damage do you think that this has done to Chicago? I mean, from a wrestling standpoint.
I think it's got to be a lot. Like I don't want to say they killed Chicago because it's too strong of a wrestling town, but I don't think they can do what they did this week and have Dynamite with Rampage taping, Collision with ROH taping, and pay-per-view coming off of a week previous pay-per-view. They can't do that all in Chicago next year. Like I don't think you can.
They're gonna try.
Tonight is a pay-per-view main evented, ignoring the competitor. It's main evented by the international title. That will be the closing match of a pay-per-view tonight.
Which again, if it was the WWE premium live event model,
Right.
where
Yes.
you're paying $100,
Right.
For an entire year of Peacock.
Right.
Oh, maybe I'll watch it, maybe I won't. When you're doing now with the one they've announced a month from now, when you're doing that will be their 7th of the year. When you're doing 7 pay-per-views, you got to have. And you have 2 world titles. You have an ROH world title and an AEW world title.
Yes.
You have a women's world title in ROH as well, a women's world title, and none of those.
Right.
You have 4 world titles between men and women, and none of them are going to be defended on this card. Like,
Nope.
You can't, if this is the model that you're in, and you're doing the limited pay-per-views, which I get, as a young company, you can't be doing them every month. But when you're doing one like this, you just can't afford not to have one of those titles, even if those particular wrestlers and Claudio and MJF and, even if those wrestlers are featured on the card, they got to be defending the title. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Right.
This is just Collision and Battle of the Belts.
It is actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
What it is.
And so, to your point, Gabe, Chicago's hard to kill.
Yeah.
Another pay-per-view name. Hard to kill. Impact. But it's because it's been firmly entrenched. Wrestling has been firmly entrenched in this city for a long time, and we've seen the good and the bad. Seen a lot, right? Even Impact's going to have their Mount for Glory show here in October. But I'm just thinking that if you are AEW, you've got to be able to reach out to other markets. Like for me to go to Dynamite on Wednesday in front of 3,300 people after you had 81,000 on Sunday is just remarkable. That's a huge drop. That means that there was no interest, and they shouldn't have come to Chicago. They should have been somewhere else in the Midwest to grow your markets in Detroit, more in Milwaukee, in Green Bay, Des Moines, somewhere in there, and then make your way to Chicago. It is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so, but the consumer has to pick and choose.
Mhm.
Like, Wednesday, I know what that is. Maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. It's not maybe.
Yeah.
It should be one time, and we'll see you next time, right?
And especially because, again, the original plan, obviously, before CM Punk choked out Jack Perry backstage,
Yes.
was that Punk wasn't going to show up on Dynamite.
Right.
So Punk was only going to show up on Collision. That's Punk's show.
Yes.
So to have Dynamite here really made no sense whatsoever, unless they wanted to have the sort of nostalgia, because they've done so many things in what was the Sears Center and now is the Now Arena. And that's where All Out used to be. That's where the original All In. So I don't know. But they never told that story either of juxtaposing, hey, we just had this All In, but this is where we had the original All In. Like,
Yes.
they didn't try to draw on that at all for Wednesday.
No.
So yeah, again, it just seemed to be a poorly thought out plan of, we want to be in Chicago. We're here at Starrcast, so you have this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't think they can pull it off again next year because you probably lost the goodwill of a lot of people here in Chicago.
Yeah, and that's the weird part. Like, just seeing it all come together and, like, I don't know, maybe it was just a statement saying, hey, you can't do stuff like that. Maybe that is what pushes them forward, but it doesn't feel like a great spot right now.
But it seems like they know you can't do. Well, I guess you can see that. I mean, it seems like they know you can't do stuff like that because the original plan is 4 pay-per-views. You have 1 a quarter, but then they decide to rush into having a pay-per-view
Right.
in back-to-back weeks, and that's kind of where this
And
is.
they're doing it again next
Yeah,
year.
but they've already got it on the books for the plans next year, and I can't imagine. Really, I can't imagine All Out being anywhere but Chicago at this point. I can't imagine Double or Nothing's always in Vegas, All Out's always in Chicago, and until the company grows, like they've done. I mean, what last year Revolution was in Minnesota.
Yeah, one of them.
Yes.
Full Gear was in Minnesota. One of the ones that aren't as important as Double or Nothing or All Out. So
full Gear, I think.
Yeah, I think full. Yeah. So they've tried to do. They rotate around with Revolution and Full Gear, but they just don't have that same pop. They don't have that same crowd the way Vegas and Chicago have treated the AEW pay-per-views.
Yep.
What's number one in the 3 count? Oh wait, that's a different show.
No, it is a different show. We are live from Starrcast, but last night WWE did have a premium live event. I thought the beginning and the ending were pretty good.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I think they should rename the show. Get this. Look at this up here. Look at this. Say it right.
Yep.
Instead of Payback.
Yep.
Outside interference. And then from there. That's what it should be, because that's all it was.
Yeah.
Outside interference.
Yeah.
It's the same match. How much
But
outside?
that's
The whole show is about outside interference.
Yeah.
Like you have a cage match. And I thought that was one of the best matches on the card, and best match in a while for women.
Yep.
We got Becky Lynch in that spot against Trish Stratus. The cage was erected for what reason?
To
keep out Zoe Stark. Wait a minute. She got in. How did she get in the cage? How did she get in the cage?
Right. And see, again, the cage match as is without Zoe Stark, it would have been fine.
Right.
Because you got a hematoma on Trish's face. What would you rather have? Here's put that on the poll question, by the way. What would you rather have? Hematoma on Trish or blood? Blood.
Yeah. I think so.
Blood.
When did WWE, because I can't quite put my finger on it, introduce the door that you can crawl out of? Because old school used to be the only way to escape was to climb over.
Yes.
But I don't know if it was 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where they introduced the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because the door is how people get in now.
Right.
Because you got a referee right there holding the door,
Yes.
which is just inviting outside interference. Which, again, I know I'm supposed to suspend belief to a certain point as a wrestling fan, but
that's the thing. Like, that match is the perfect summary of this feud. Like, there were so many clunky parts that made no sense, the starts, the stops, but there was really good stuff also. Like, Zoe got over, you made a new star.
Yep.
Yes.
Becky got the win. Like, there was a lot of good stuff, but then you have the random bad stuff also.
Hunter just spread it out too long. Like, this should have been, I don't know why. Again, I know he's got a thing about wanting to keep the cards tight when it's not WrestleMania, but this should have been on SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Like, this should have been this feud should have been a cage match at SummerSlam, and you'd have had all of the same results.
Yes.
Zoe would have still gotten over. Trish would have gotten her cage match.
Yes.
And that's the other thing for me. Like, as good as the match was, like this is probably the last time we see Trish Stratus wrestle.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. So it's and Edge got this huge, going away thing. Like, Trish is on the women's side. Trish is just as important, if not more important, to the women's side than
That's
Edge. And we get an ad about how much % discount we can get on WWEshop.com, powered by Fanatics, and then they do a digital exclusive of her walking off. Why didn't you want to connect with your audience in that moment of allowing the fans there to appreciate Trish and do the thank you Trish thing? Because that could be the last time we see her in the ring. She got her wish. We all knew she really wanted that cage match. And now she can kind of ride off into the sunset. Maybe she pops back in every now and then, but that could be it for her in the ring.
That could be just never say never. Like, she'll have one more time to be a babyface and say goodbye.
Yeah.
That could happen.
But same thing with Edge. Edge got all this fanfare.
I know. That's why I think Trish will have something.
Okay.
And Edge might go work for another company, and he got all that.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I looked at that match and I just thought that was a fantastic match.
It was so good.
I mean, cage match. And the other thing too that I want to bring out about Trish is that Trish looks like she fits in with everyone else.
Yeah.
She didn't seem like an outsider, like, oh, here comes the person from the past.
Right.
Trish looked like she belonged with the rest of the group in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that stands out to me, that she's so modern, even though we know her from the back. You don't even remember her on all fours, barking like a dog. Right? I mean, so this is, she fit in so perfectly with the current roster, you don't even realize how old she is.
Yeah, and honestly, like the way her even wrestling grew over the last 6 months, I think of when we first had the match with her
Yeah.
and Becky and Lita, and you're going, ooh, you know,
Yeah.
they don't move like they used to. Like,
Yeah, right.
you had zero of those thoughts last night.
Right.
The bumps she was taking
Yeah.
off the cage and the story they told in the ring. Was
The hanging from the
spectacular.
top of the cage. Like,
Oh yeah,
upside down.
she hooked her legs in there.
Holy cow. That scared me.
Yeah, that was a little risky.
And thank God that she's buoyant.
Yeah.
If I can use a term. If I can use that term. Oh, I'm just saying. I mean, she, you know, she.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I thought
Yes.
she really delivered last night. We'll
She,
say that.
well, she did deliver.
Yeah.
And it it exalts Becky Lynch. It helps Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
That's why you bring in a veteran.
Yeah.
Because everything worked. Even though you're right, there should have been a SummerSlam match. We got it on Payback. That could have been the main event for Payback. Would have been fine with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially as long as that feud went on, and the main event was good last night.
Yep.
Knock versus. I mean, I feel like that was one of the few times in WWE they've really let Knock kind of go
Yes.
and do Shinsuke Nakamura things in the ring, and Seth Rollins, because the story going in was Seth Rollins' back. They allowed that match to be pretty physical, and I mean, it's not New Japan Pro Wrestling King of Strong style,
Sorry.
but it was WWE version of King of Strong style
Yes.
for Shinsuke Nakamura last night.
Pretty solid match. When we previewed it, I said it's a fresh match.
Yep.
Something we haven't seen before. You know, I love the new era of WWE, in which they could talk about the backgrounds of wrestlers.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy was in Japan and he was a vicious, human being, and now we see, some similarities of that now. And so I like that, and I think that just the whole story of his back worked for Seth Rollins. So I thought it was a good match, very solid match, good for Shinsuke Nakamura.
But I'm not the only one, because again, outside interference.
Outside interference. God damn.
I'm not the only one that thought Great Muta was going to jump the rail and somehow interfere,
Yeah,
right?
why don't you fly Muda in if he's not going to get involved? Where's the mist? Where is it?
Just there to hang out, taking the show.
Pittsburgh.
Just thought that maybe, given everything else,
Yeah.
all the other shenanigans that happened, that it was a possibility.
No, that makes sense. I mean, the entrance was cool for Knock. Like, the ending was just sort of happened.
Yeah.
And then apparently, once they went off air, he attacked Rollins. Because
Oh,
it
did
feels
he?
like nothing progressed from this. Like, it was a good match. It was a fun match, but there's nowhere for either of them to go now.
He didn't win his finish.
Yeah.
That's all you needed.
That's it. It was
Yeah.
just over. So, like, that's the weird part. But then you have him attacking Rollins after. But that was fun. I don't think the show needed to be as long as it was. But,
Well, we're going to get into that.
yeah, started
So,
great.
so
We're
while
awesome.
you're doing ESPN radio,
Yeah.
we'll fill in the blanks for you.
Okay.
Okay, so here's something that we have not talked about before, but we're going to talk about it here today. And that's with LA Knight. Yeah. LA Knight against The Miz.
Uh-huh.
Too long.
Yeah.
Match too long.
Someone
then-
mentioned the word "yeah" last night, by the way, and it started taking off. It's getting into that yes.
At AEW?
territory. Yes.
I heard that too.
Actually,
Yeah.
I forgot who said it.
There was a jackass that was dressed as LA Knight there in the hard camera.
Someone said it in a promo. It was like, yeah, that's it. Like, yeah, and it started spreading throughout the crowd. So
That
it works
was
everywhere.
Danielson. I think
Okay.
Danielson said, "Let me talk to you."
Yeah, yes, that's what it was.
That's what it was. Yeah. And I'm like, why did he use that? Why did he say that? I heard him say, like,
Yes.
"Let me talk to you," and that's
Yes.
He's a double agent.
he had no idea what that was. But let's help you out on LA Knight
All right.
and The Miz. Okay, we're doing a show. Keep it down, will you, pal? Anyway, on the heel here. That's all right.
Typically, yes.
Yes.
That's typically how it works.
Okay, so my first criticism of LA Knight is like the promo's great, the looks great,
Yep.
the catchphrase, the look, everything else, right? But then you put it in the ring. Guys, here's what you do with a guy like him. 8 minutes, a tight 8 minutes,
Yeah.
like a comedian, right? Tight 5,
Yep.
a tight 8 minutes, because I don't have the official time on that. It felt like it's like 15 or 17 minutes. Gabe, the problem is that what I saw yesterday was The Miz. I guess The Miz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about as far as like in ring. Like it's like after the whole music and everybody says LA Knight, then he gets in the ring. And it's technical, it's fine, but it's not spectacular. It's not Rock, it's not Stone Cold, it's not Jericho, it's not Cena. He's just a technically sound wrestler. And if that's cool, that's fine. But I think people want more than that. I
So-
think.
In that company, though?
So, conspiracy theory, did they let him go too long to try to kill him?
Well, this is how Triple H thinks. Triple H thinks longer is better because that's what he's from.
Right.
He's from, I'm a world champion, I got to go 30 minutes. Where do you learn that from? Flair.
Right.
So if you thought the match was too long, that's how Triple H likes it.
Yeah.
Unlike Vince, who likes it shorter.
Well, but again, this is somebody who's gotten over naturally and organically with the crowd.
Yep.
And we know how WWE responds to that. It doesn't matter who's been in charge. It doesn't matter if it's Hunter. It doesn't matter if it's Vince. If you get over organically, despite everything they say, well, that's not in our plans. We don't know what to do with you now. So if he decided, oh, hey, watch this. I'm going to put him out there too long and expose him a little bit.
But the one thing, like, we keep hearing patience with him, and I haven't trusted them. It's him and Cena next. Isn't that what they're moving towards last night?
I'm not sure what that was.
That's what it felt like. They were planting seeds that there's going to be Cena LA Knight. I don't know who the heel is there.
But I don't understand. I don't understand why they had a face down at the end.
Right, like it felt like we're
because I watched it. So
that.
I went back and I watched it back this morning, and Cena, was calling it down the middle.
Yeah.
Pulled both guys off at different times and doing all that, and then he just kind of hung around the stage so he could stare down, hold up his hand, and go, "This is your moment," and walk away.
Yeah,
that didn't make a lot of sense to me either.
But it feels like that's where they're going, though, and that'll be a step in the right direction, I think.
Well,
I think
we'll see, because Cena didn't do Austin Theory any favors.
No, he did not. As you saw last night, another loss for Austin Theory. He's been in the crapper ever since. I'm just telling you that you guys saw the match. I didn't think much of it. Like, if Cena's going to be involved, you think it's going to be some shenanigans. That was as vanilla a match you'll find in WWE.
Yeah.
I just saw that match in 2009.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, I'm not bashing the match. I'm saying that it's vanilla.
Yeah.
That there was nothing special about the match. I mean, great run up to it. The guys had face-to-face promos. It was cool. But then you get in the ring, it's kind of like,
I mean, the only, the way he positioned Miz on the ropes and then spun it into a DDT, that was kind of cool.
That's cool. But it wasn't. But
that was about it.
Okay, well, I'll ask you guys. When you see LA Knight, besides the promos, what else stands out about him besides finish?
No, he's just
What's that one movie like? When he does that.
He slips on that jumping thing that he's tried a few times where he jumps
Yes.
to the top.
He did a Sheamus. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing, right?
But it's WWE. You don't need to be Bryan Danielson.
I understand.
But you need to have. I mean, again, everyone made fun of it with seeing what the five moves do.
Yes.
I think you need something a little bit more than your elbow and the blunt force trauma. I think you need something else. Like, even Miz has other signature things. Miz has the kick your knee out. You're down on your knees. He hits you with the DDT. He stole the yes kicks, which are now the it kicks. The world famous it kicks.
Come on, Michael Cole, just say it. He's like, he stole it from somewhere. Somewhere. I dare you say Daniel Bryan. I dare you say it.
I was surprised. As much of a company man as Cole is, the fact that he even hinted that he stole it from someplace else. That's how you know he is the freest he's ever been with no Vince McMahon in his ear. The fact that he's going, well, he stole it from somewhere.
To find out.
Again, a 5 match is fine, but that's if there's going to be more than 5, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's fine. I just want to know what's the next level for LA Knight. I've seen him wrestle a long time. Not sure if there's anything else after that. But he's over. I can't deny that. I mean, he's over.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think they care. I mean, so from last night, KO and Sammy can go, and now they're just guys. They dropped the tag belts to the Judgment Day.
But that was the best match on the card for me. Was it for you?
I skipped it. I've seen it enough. We've seen it for the last 2 months.
No. The match itself was really good. I thought the women's match. I thought the cage match was the best match of the night.
You skipped that match?
Yes, I've seen it for the last 2 months.
No, you got to go back and watch. No.
It was really good.
Okay.
No.
Go back.
That wasn't Raw. That was.
It is though.
No. Go back and watch that.
Okay.
No, that was a good match, and the reason why is because it was a street fight.
Sure.
But again, what irked me was all the interference, though. But it's who the Judgment Day is.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean. We need to do a better job in professional wrestling of not making baby faces dipshits. Right? Because so you're Sammy and KO.
Uh-huh.
So you got 2 of them.
Yes.
You've been feuding with the Judgment Day, who is 4, potentially 5.
Yes.
So your idea is street fight, where anything goes.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
You don't think Dom's going to come in You don't think that,
Rhea?
that we're going to have
5-2,
Rhea come through
yeah,
with
that's how it
a
works.
spear? We're
McDonough.
not going to see any of that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sean McDonough.
Sean-
JD McDonough.
Sean-
Close.
Will McDonough.
I'm pretty sure Sean's a big wrestling fan.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Too erudite. I don't think so. I don't think so. Swung into the ropes. Far side. I don't think so. Could you imagine?
Now I want to see Sean McDonough be played by a professional wrestler. Like now that's all I've taken out of this conversation.
Double clothesline. Lateral press. Hooks the far leg. Don't know if he's into that. No,
I bet he'd be a lot better than Adnan Burke was.
Oh, I think so. Off the ropes. Syracuse driving.
But yeah, so I guess that's the only thing. That's the only problem I have with that is like, if you're saying KO, what else was going to happen in a Pittsburgh street fight?
Correct.
And you got to pop the crowd by coming out in the Penguins match, Penguins jerseys and that whole sort of thing. But I have no idea what happens with Sammy and KO after this.
Oh, you got to go back and watch that, boys. I mean, you're a good wrestling fan.
All right.
I understand that. You've been saying
pay-per-view. You've seen the match a bunch. I can go back
I
and
know
watch it.
you. By the way, you have every right to be pissed off about seeing the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
This is not the same.
Okay.
I think what Gabe is telling you is that wrestlers or baby faces in particular need friends.
Yeah. That's how it works.
No friends? Nobody going to come up to help KO and Sammy?
I mean, I know Cody Rhodes was back there. He came out during the Grayson Waller effect.
Nobody? Nobody to help these guys? Nobody helping nobody.
No.
Nobody helping Raquel Rodriguez?
Wait. You're telling me that for the guy that really wanted Sami Zayn to be world champion 7 months ago, you skipped his match?
Yes, because he's just a guy now. They've made him into nothing. I've seen this match against Judgment Day 27 times last 2 months. Like, it's whatever.
But he's your guy.
I know, but they've made him into just a guy.
I mean, you're a Raiders fan. You still watch them every Sunday. You've been watching them for years.
That's a good point. Got no argument there at all. Nothing to say.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to enjoy my last 7 days of freedom. Bring on football season.
You've worn him down. You worn him down with that.
Yes.
Anything else on the card that we're missing?
Yeah,
Jay
no
Uso's
notes.
on Raw.
Huh?
Jay Uso's on Raw.
Yeah. Okay. So again, dumb. Okay. Again, something else dumb on the show.
Cody's got power. He told
No,
you.
but wait a minute now. Hold on a second. Now, again, my memory's not as good as it used to be with wrestling because I got so much sports in my mind.
Yeah, sure.
So the wrestling. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, guys, did we not see Cody Rhodes against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania?
We did.
Do we know what the finish was? What was the finish? Spear, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Before the spear, did we not see some outside interference? Did we not see that?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bloodline match, so yes.
Okay, so was Jey Uso involved?
Yeah.
Was he part of that outside interference?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so why is it that is Cody now a representative of the company that he can just bring in Jey Uso? What's that all about?
Yeah.
Not Adam Pearce? Not Triple H?
He said he's got power. Whatever that means.
So, and all he says is, I hope I'm not making a mistake.
Yeah.
He cost you the championship.
Right.
Yeah.
Your story.
So what?
I got a funny feeling what's going to happen here.
All right.
Especially with him just walking off, saying it on the microphone to Grayson Waller, and then also saying it as he's walking up the ramp.
Yes.
Oh, I hope I didn't make a mistake. Guess what, Cody? You made a mistake.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Right. It turns out Jay's going to do something that's going to cost you down the line here. You made a mistake.
Right.
I mean, you're telegraphing what exactly is going to happen here as they try to, I guess, this is their way to, and again, they're telegraphing now what the main event is going to be for the second consecutive year. I think it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes.
Hooray.
Okay, but why does he have a say?
Right. No, it's very odd. That makes zero sense, but that's WWE logic.
Well, WWE babyfaces always have a say.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Top babyfaces always have a say.
So I know that part, and the other part. I know we crap on her a lot. I thought Rhea and Raquel was good. Like, it wasn't amazing, but I thought that match was good.
No, so, and if they continue to run it back, because I know Raquel said that she's got, unfinished business or whatever. You have two very powerful women that you don't get a lot of, right? Like, so I think with those two, with Charlotte, having just some stronger women, you have an opportunity to do things you don't typically see in a WWE women's match. Which, again, if you give me a reason to care about Raquel, could really have something cool going with Raquel and Rhea. But you just need we need some character work with Raquel.
Yes, so she should be in NXT.
Yeah, that's fair.
She's a heel.
She is, yes. I think she would work great as a heel.
She's a heel. I thought the match was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. I mean, just like Raquel's tongue was by her, down her throat, dealing with the champion.
Yeah.
I think she got run ragged a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's another win for Mommy. Did she need the outside interference? So again, was there a need for Dom to be there?
No.
Well, but I mean, again, it gets a pop anytime that he gets like power slammed like that.
That's true.
The crowd loves to see Dom have stuff like that happen to him.
God, that's not gonna age well later on in his career. They're gonna have all these videos of him being manhandled or woman handled by so many people. Like, only that once. It happens a lot to him. I mean, he's young, so he could take it, but boy, he's in a lot of. But you know what? He's in a great spot.
He is.
And so all these championships, it's funny. Like usually when you have a faction, somebody's a world champion. Like, tag team, North American women. Like, that's good enough. That's good enough.
Well, you do have Money in the Bank still there, kind of.
Money in the Bank.
You got that percolating, but I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens with that. I'm really curious to see what happens with Sammy and KO.
Why do we still have 2 tag belts?
We can stop that now. Just make one.
Yeah. It feels like it at this point.
Raw, SmackDown, combination, unified tag team champion.
Well, hopefully, I mean, haven't there been rumors that they wanted to redesign those for a while now?
Yeah.
So hopefully now maybe they allow the Judgment Day to do that.
Okay.
I always think it's a rib by the Office to make you carry 2 belts to the airport. I saw that. I told you I saw that in Nashville, I think.
Yeah.
Where I saw a guy that was a wrestler, and he was there. I went through my stuff. Like, everything's fine, shoes, okay. And I'm just putting my stuff together, and these guys, I'm a wrestler. Let me explain. It's like, what is this? These are my trunks. These are my boots. They're steel-toed. Let's put them through the thing. And the guy was just like, oh, God. He was just some indie wrestler from Tennessee. He was like, let me explain. And it's like, he had brass knucks. It's like, because he couldn't carry that separately. He's like, okay, this is my gimmick. And I just said, sir, I'm from Good Karma Wrestling. How often you got to deal with these? He goes, every time I fly. I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah, that sucks.
But, like, literally every NFL WWE championship belt looks better
that is fair.
than the tag team belts currently do.
True.
Like, we know you can do good things with belt design, so let's maybe do that for the
But if
tag
you're on a
champs.
Jaguars one, you're not going to get that. Remember that.
No.
Only 31 of 32 teams.
That's
Well,
right.
I mean, there are some rumors that they already sold them out because the Jags are such a popular team.
Of course, America's team.
Yeah, everybody's all in on Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence this year.
And speaking of belts, Gabe, so I want to tell you about our conversation we had yesterday.
Okay.
So I know you made your sojourn around this place, and I think that we're a certain kind of wrestling fan.
Yep.
In which we've never displayed championship belts like some of our fans do. That's a thing, man. At the
merch table last night at Collision, if you want the AEW title, only $850.
So do you think that we'll be belts guys? I'm not sure. Like, I saw them over there. I was going to get one for you, but.
No, I don't think we're going to be belts guys.
No?
No. I don't see it. And I mean, unless they bring back the spinner belt, then I'll get you the spinner belt. you seem like a WWE spinner belt.
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
That's
me.
It seems like your favorite version of the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
If you come to Starrcast, though, upstairs, so we're downstairs. Upstairs, you can take a picture with Big Gold. There's a bunch of, like, actual belts upstairs you can take pictures with. The original ECW title, those are all upstairs.
How long's the line?
It wasn't long when I was there. So,
That'd be a consideration.
Again, having your hand on a belt and getting a picture taken, cool. I'm not going to buy one personally. That's not for me.
I saw that in Milwaukee at the old Mecca, and there was several people that had tag team championships. Like, where's your partner? I got them both. It's weird.
Are you
It's
Braun
like,
Strowman?
I don't know. It's just that's a new thing, man. And I saw some back here. It was I was actually trying to make sure that he didn't buy it.
Yeah,
he had his eye on
I
action
appreciate
figures.
you. My wife appreciates you.
Yeah. I was trying to help him
Somebody's got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you were here to do that yesterday.
because there's some $50 stuff, $75 stuff, toys, action figures. Sorry.
What's the thing you're looking forward to most tonight?
Brian. I think Brian Daniels, anytime you put him in the ring, like, I don't think he's healthy, but how he figures out to work at that match, I think will be fun.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Orange Cassidy can do with Moxley and what kind of match that would be. I look forward to that. If that's the main, I'm looking forward to it.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It'll pay off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to deliver, especially with kind of the more grit that they've kind of displayed for Cassidy and some of the promos that they've had running up to this.
Does Orange have to win?
Doesn't this do more for Orange than it does for Moxley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
feel like
Orange
you
wins.
have to let him win.
I think Orange wins.
Wow.
End the night with Orange there. You can drop Orange confetti. Like,
Wow. Could you imagine?
that'd be a big moment. And that's a win for Tony. Tony believed in Orange while all the knockers, and then he said, look at what this guy is.
Man, I can't see it, but but if it happens, that's huge for him.
Yeah.
And now the conversation Thursday is on the lower third. Who can beat Orange Cassidy? Not Roman. Who can beat Orange Cassidy? Because that'll be one of his questions.
It will be, yes.
Ridiculous questions. That'll be the lead on Thursday. My God, who can beat Orange Cassidy? And he'll be already tired of the reign.
Yep.
32 people he's beaten. Oh, I'm tired of this.
Well, at least he won't have the list with Roman. Like, Roman's only defended it like
four
twice in the
times,
last.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Orange Cassidy's defended it like 5 times in the last 6 days.
Yeah.
Like, he's defending that thing constantly.
The guy works.
But I'm with you.
Wow.
I'm concerned about Bryan Danielson tonight.
Yes.
Like, I should be a little concerned, right? Because
Yes.
I'm not. Because I fully believe, especially after he missed the first Forbidden Door because of injury, that if he was actually healthy, they would have found a way to put him on the card last week in London.
7
Like,
days
he would
ago.
have- Yeah, 7 days ago, he would have been on that card. So I don't think he is fully healthy, which makes me a little nervous for him going into a strap match. That just makes me a little nervous. So I'm nervous for that tonight for Bryan Danielson.
He's a team player.
He is a team player.
And nobody can deny that.
Right.
He's helping the company.
Right?
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, you guys need me? Let's go.
Yep.
I'll do it. And
Yeah.
then give me some time off.
Him and Mox.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the two that have constantly answered the bell, and people have had zero question. But even the EVPs, people have questioned the loyalty.
Right.
Like, are those guys going to end up in WWE? That hasn't been the case for Danielson. Hasn't been the case for Mox.
No, and so, I know that we talk about CM Punk and some of the question marks about the company, but the positives are guys like Jericho and the guys we just mentioned.
Yeah.
Those guys are leading and trying to help this company through. Because Tony Khan can't help himself, man. If you give him truth serum, he would say, I want CM Punk in the company. Despite all the shit that happened, he'd still want him there.
Yep.
No, it's time to go. And would be a great time to talk to Cole Cabana.
It was
Hey, it would be a great time to talk to him, wouldn't it?
big fan once again.
So, Colt, how about yesterday's news?
I'll tell you about the Cubs game.
That's right.
That's what you would interpret it as.
Now, one thing for sure, Gabe, these AEW guys, there's been plenty of them here, really very hush-hush about what's going on. I want to talk about it.
Which makes sense.
Which, honestly, good.
Yeah.
Good. You need to keep some of these things more under wraps and not let them get out the way they really have. And maybe, again, that stops. Maybe it doesn't. But I still think they have other issues they need to address. But they addressed, number one, by firing CM Punk yesterday. I do want to say thank you to everybody here at Starrcast. I know you guys had a lot of fun here yesterday. Yep. I've been having a lot of fun so far here today. Might have some more content that comes out of Starrcast, but also we've got All Out coming up later tonight. So make sure you check us out. If you have to watch All Out, we know we're going to be talking about it coming up on Thursday. Subscribe, comment on YouTube right here on GKW.